Well, hello, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Kat Connect, and today I'm going to begin a visioning series on this podcast. It's going to be in my blog. I'm going to talk about a couple of workshops I have. If you are a person who understands the power of visioning and how important it is in life, but super important when you have a coaching business, because you want to really be anchored and to be creating what you want in your life and business from a vision that inspires you, that includes things that are in your heart and soul, as well as your mind. Visioning is a process that brings forward new ways of doing things, insights in a way that nothing else can, in my opinion. So that's what we're going to look at. And I want to just give a shout out right now. We will be hosting the Soul Driven Success. We'll be hosting 2 live workshops that are free. And we do this every year, and it's super fun to vision with other coaches. December 15th and January 12th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So put that on your calendar. That's for the community. If you know another coach who you think could benefit from this, please forward them this podcast so that they learn about it and they get started right now in the visioning process. If you are already in the Soul Driven Success community, you know how much fun this is. Put those 2 dates on your calendar. And this is for those who are in the community, and we have a special offer for the public to join in this. After the January 15th Vision Workshop, we do a 21-day challenge that includes a virtual retreat where you get to make your structure, your collage, whatever that is for you that you want to hold your vision for the year. We'll be doing that. It's also a great way to start your year to really get momentum and get into action around your vision. So I'm putting that out there for you. Let me know if you have any questions about it. If you need to find the links, I'm happy to help you out. Today, so this is number 1. We're going to look at the year in review, what it is, and why it's important, and what it could bring you when it comes to visioning your new year. Why it's so important to begin. It's like beginning with the end in mind. That's a thing, right? But this is like beginning with knowing what you have, what you've accomplished, what's happened, what's completed. So you can rip that calendar sheet out and go, okay, I did it. I'm done. And the slate is clear for a new year. So that's what we're going to do on this podcast. The next 2 podcasts, we'll look at some other elements, such as making a vision board, doing some visualizations. We'll be looking at setting your goals and intentions and maybe your word for the year. And of course, how to get into action around your vision. That's what I always include in everything I do. There's the being and the doing. This is one of the things at the Coactive Training Institute we really learned, and it's been instilled in me as a coach. And I know how important it is to have both of those pieces. So I'm going to start the year in review. I'm going to do a little origin story around this. So this ritual for me started maybe 30 some years ago. I used to get together with some really good friends, and we'd go away for New Year's, and we would reminisce and we would talk about things that had happened over the year. We'd spend some time getting all cozy and reminiscing. And then we would set our intention and goals and those kind of things, what we wanted to happen in the new year. And it was always such a transformational experience for me. And then when I got into coaching and I really learned about visioning, a lot of this was through my coach training at the Coactive Training Institute. Just another shout out for that organization. I know it's a big part of coaching in general, where we help our clients vision for their future, really look at that bigger picture. Then when I got married, so I actually got married on New Year's Eve because visioning was such an important part of the life that Curtis and I, my husband, created and what we wanted to continue to create. We were doing this kind of same, I kind of brought some of what I had been doing with my friends. We got, he and I had some nice time around New Year's. We talked about things that had happened, and more we found that that part of the visioning gave us really solid ground when we took the time to look back at the year. So we got more and more intentional about it. And I'm going to go into some instruction in a minute about how you can do that. One day, though, one very specific visioning we did, I remember we were away, we were at Harris Ranch and getting ready to, we were doing this visioning process and we were reminiscing and I was talking about all the good things that I remembered happening. And Curtis is like, well, that's, yeah, but what about looking at the things that didn't go so well? And I had some resistance to that because I'm a happy go lucky person. Glass half full is me. But we did it. And I found how beneficial it was to actually see the whole picture of what had happened in the year. So part of that, I could do some clearing around the things I hadn't liked and let some things go. It just made it more whole. So with all of that, over time, what we have come up with, and this is in our Soul Strategy Vision course for coaches, is what I call the highlights, the lowlights, and the insights. It is the 3 steps are really, really important, right? So you're going to be looking at what happened that was great, what happened that was not so great, and what did you learn, whether you liked it, the experience or not. There's learning to cull. This is one of the big things I learned in looking at the lowlights. So I'm going to dive into those 3 segments next. Then I'm going to talk about ways to go about doing this year in review, because the more intentional, the more time and attention you give it, the fuller your experience will be on the learning. And I'm not an expert, a neuroscience expert, but I do know that integration is super important. We need to integrate what we've experienced. And sometimes things go so quickly and our mind doesn't grasp all of it at the time. So taking time to look back is a healthy brain exercise. I'm just going to say it's good for the heart. It's good for the mind. It's really fun thing to do, because think about it. We spend so much time thinking about right now, what's happening, what do I have to get done today, and what's tomorrow, and what's next week, and what's coming, and what's the plan, that it is so relaxing to go, this is just about things that have already happened and reviewing them for very purposefully, for the purpose of acknowledgement and celebrating and mourning and loss and being able to move forward with that integrated. So highlights, you're going to be looking at what are the events, experiences, moments in time that happened this year that you would put a star beside it and say ooh, I really enjoyed that. That was something. Maybe it's something, hey, there's the good old thumb there. I love how that just shows up. You'll look at what are the things that were exciting? What were the accomplishments? I'm also going to encourage you, when you're looking at highlights, for things that were small, like maybe not a big, rah, yay, the world will think I'm fabulous about what I just did, but things that are really meaningful to you. And when you're looking in your business, especially, be sure that you look for those moments when you crossed a line energetically, or like, oh, there's something maybe you worked on for a long time. I know I already have some of these in my mind about some systems I worked on 3 or 4 years with my fabulous VA, Jackie. And just today, on this very day, she and I were looking at it and it's like, wow, look at that. Like we're actually at a new place with that. So you want to look at highlights, what they mean to you, things that are highlights for you. Lowlights, as I was saying, you want to look for what are some things that you feel like failed. They didn't work out. Maybe they didn't work out the way you wanted them to. Mistakes that you made, honest to goodness, like, yes, I did that. It wasn't what I really wanted to do. Maybe you have some regret about it. You might want to look at some things that just went south. Like, ooh, that was going well, and then something happened. And thinking of it as a low light because at the time you didn't like it. And maybe even now, as you look back, you don't like it. You're like, yep, I didn't like that that happened. I wish it hadn't. Like for me, I'm going to say I hurt my hip this year. And darn, I could go back if I could have a magic wand about the past. I have a little bit of a magic wand here. If I had it about the past, I'd go back to that moment at IKEA where I reached up high onto a shelf, pulled down a mirror, and landed on my right side on my hip, and I heard something go, "Ah." So there might be some moments like that in your timeline where you get, yeah, that was a low light for me. The insight piece. Okay. When you're looking at the highlights, ask yourself some coaching questions. What was most important about that? Maybe where was the value I was honoring when that happened? What what did it take of me? Who did I have to be to accomplish that? Or who or the people who were present that made that so special? You want to have some questions for yourself, not just ticking it off a box. Liked it, liked it, liked it. You want to dig down for some insight so that you can carry that insight forward into the new year. Oh, this particular construct of time, value, people, you'll see, oh, that's a way I would like to keep doing things because that worked out really well for me. With the lowlights, you want to be compassionate with yourself. And I'm going to encourage you to do some digging with this. If something you didn't like and it didn't work out the way you wanted, look to see, was it an absolute failure? Something that just didn't go the way you wanted or planned? Look to see, well, what part of that was a failure? What did I learn from what did happen? And you also want to look at, well, what happened next? Because so often a failure gives us some experience that can catapult us to something successful. So you can already start to see how these two things play with the insight that when you're looking at the good things that happen and the things not so good, you can start to see themes and patterns. You want to look at losses as well. This can be hard, and I want to say have compassion for yourself throughout this. You want to put that saboteur, whatever that inner critic voice that you have, want to make sure that you're managing it well because this is not about beating up on yourself. It's not about, oh, I am bad or I'm just stupid or I never get that right. You want to get, there's something here that was missing or this just wasn't for me. Maybe I didn't know enough that in order to do what I attempted to do, it wasn't the right time. Maybe it's a complete mystery, but you want to look like, yeah, what actually was the loss or what was that a failure or did I really make a mistake? It's so good to say, yeah, that was a mistake. And I really want to learn from that, like me and my hip. I really want to learn to be more mindful, more aware of my limitations physically, mentally, emotionally. There can be some grieving that happens in this part of the year in review, and give yourself time and space for that. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not a big fan of grieving. I feel like it doesn't come naturally to me. But when I give myself permission to really go to the place of, gosh, that's a loss. That's gone. That time, that opportunity, that person. And I want to take time to feel it in my heart. So encouraging you to bring your heart into this process. So those are there's a little tip and I'm going to come back to this, but I want to get a little more tactical and give you some ideas about how to do the year in review because I think it's important. First of all, I'm going to give you the basic elements. Here's the basic elements of the year in review, at least according to me today, recording this podcast. Number one is give yourself a really nice chunk of time to do this. One way I do it is I take some evenings I have in December, and especially over the holiday break that many of us take. I take some chunks of time just for this. I say to myself, Saturday afternoon, Friday, I'm really going to spend some time looking back at my year. This is not a flyby. This is not something you want to do quickly because you want to get those insights. When I have those chunks of time, and this is, I think, super fun. This is a super fun part of this. I get out all of my calendars. So I have so many calendars. I have a big calendar on my wall. I have a desktop calendar. I have a calendar on my phone, the online calendar. So one thing I do is I get out my calendar and I just start looking through the year and start it's a kind of a soft focus thing. I'm buzzing my hand here if you're listening. Just looking through, landing on some dates, some times that I want to investigate a little more and going, oh, right. I took a trip or, that was when I got to do that presentation or that workshop. That was so much fun. So get out your calendar. Another place I go looking is with my photos. And it used to be, I would get out a box of photos, but now, of course, all my photos are on my phone or on my computer. I think this is one of the most fun ways to look back at the year. Just start back on January 1st and just start scrolling through your pictures and land on ones that remind you of something. Again, you're going to be looking for highlights, lowlights for those insights. So it could be a very happy moment, or you see a picture of something like a presentation that didn't go so well. So use your pictures. There might be some other things. Another place I go to social media and kind of scroll back through some things. You can get some timelines there. Other places, think about where you might want to go. You might just have a conversation with a friend where you're talking about the year. That can be helpful, or, a partner or a mate where you're kind of having a conversation to unearth some things. I look back through my journals. If you do journaling, this is a great reason to do journaling because you can look back and see things and see what happened at particular times. Those are the high points. There could be other little ways. You could look back through your phone records, look back through emails. Just again, do it in a way that's fun. It doesn't have to be linear, but you want to go to the places where you're going to be it's going to spark your memory. This is the piece I'm going to bring back in, getting the insights, because when you get your memory sparked, I'm going to encourage you to sit and think about with these questions I brought earlier or others. What made that so special, or what made that stink that I didn't like it at all? Really clear with yourself on what the event experience, think about it's about experiences, what that experience brought you, and have something to track it. This is one of the pieces, like a notebook, maybe it's a Google Doc. You want to track the insights, just track them lightly so that when you're done, you have some documented, something you can look at and go, wow, what a year. And you really just look at the whole piece. Then here's the next step that I encourage you to do. Then you get out a separate piece of paper, or I do it on little cards, little, I don't know, 2x3 cards or something, little cards. Write down all the things you want to leave behind. So you look at your failure and you want to leave behind, maybe there was some you want to actually just, okay, I got my learning, that's done. Just write the event down. Maybe if it's a mistake, you write that down. Again, there's an organic piece to this, but write down all the things that you feel like you are done with because you got the learning from doing this exercise. And you want to make sure that you in your heart knows, the universe knows that, okay, I got it. That isn't going to, that's done. So you don't carry that with you, because we carry our mistakes and failures and, so easily. Well, there's some phrase that, the negative things are like Velcro and the positive things are like Teflon. They just slide. We don't remember them so well. Do a ritual with this. If you have a fireplace, I used to have one. I don't have one this year, so I'm not sure what this ritual will be. But you want to wad them up, throw them in the trash, burn them, rip them up, make it a little bit fun, but do it ritualistically. This is, again, an important piece of this. So you let it's known. There's power in this. Do the ritual. And we're going to be going over this, as I said. So December 15th, I'm going to be taking you through these steps at a deeper level. So if you really want to go into this before the holidays and get how to do this, come to that workshop or sign up for it so that you get the recording of it and you will be able to be walked through these steps even at a deeper level. Then, once that piece is done, look at the rest of the things that came up and choose the ones, the highlights, that you most want to bring forward into the new year. One of the things that I've learned in this process is there's a clump of them. You'll see the highlights have some things in common: ways of being, ways you grew, some particular value you honored, something you learned. You'll see, oh, this maybe more than one time, this highlight had a root to it. So you just pull out. You don't want to have too many, right? To seed the new year, I would say 6 at the most, maybe 7. It could be as few as 3. But pull out the ones that, like, okay, when I get ready to do my visioning for the new year, these are the highlights I most want to build the new year on. Okay, then once you've cleared the negative and the negative energy about things that didn't go well for you this year, you've pulled forward. Here are the insights. You are then ready to begin the next step in the visioning process, which I'm going to talk about on my next podcast. So you want to make sure that you listen. But this is the time. I'm bringing this to you now so that I'm going to ask you, maybe challenge you that maybe turn this podcast off. Or as soon as this podcast is over, I want you to go to your calendar and put the dates in that already this is going to be some good time for me to really do this year in review. And start now to gather, because sometimes it takes a little time. There's some things I forgot. I knew I needed to leave time here at the end of this podcast for things I forgot. Like maybe your vision board from last year. Hello. You definitely want to look over your vision board. Any intentions, goals you had. You might want to scroll through, some work you've done on your business. Take a look at a business plan you had. Or if you're in one of my courses, you'll want to take a look at the work you did in the course and what you accomplished. So it takes time to gather some of these things. Take some time and start thinking about, what do you want to have in front of you when you take time to do your year in review, right? Again, this will set you up. Another quote that I really love is, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you take time to really honor this past year and go and give it mindful, put time and attention on it, that's going to be seeded into your new year vision. That kind of care and intention. And so that's what I want you to do. Those are your instructions. This is a podcast with instructions. What do you think about that? Go out, start gathering things. Things might start coming to your mind. You might want to get a notebook, because things will start coming now that we've activated this. And stay tuned for the next podcast. And as I said, if you want further instructions, you'll want to come to the workshop, connect with it in some way so that you get to a little deeper dive on this. And have fun with it. Really, would love to hear how this goes for you. I love hearing from people who listen to the podcast and they tell me that they got into action around something. So this is getting into action around your vision, where we're going to land. The last podcast is going to be, getting into action around the vision that you're completing so that you can start the new vision and there will be action at the end of that. But this is a really great time. It's winter, it's cold, at least where I live, and it feels like winter, even if it's not officially the winter season. So it's a great time to just hunker down and meander and have some fun going through your past, seeing what were the highlights, what were the lowlights, and grabbing some of those insights for you to continue on your path this year and as you go forward. All right. I look forward to connecting with you the next time. Okay. Thanks for listening. As always, bye.